Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we're going to be talking about ontologies. Sort of. So, this was a request from a viewer on my channel. They're like, hey, Greg, I would like to get your thoughts on ontologies. And this is something I've been thinking quite a bit about and been reading about, both semantic models, ontologies, knowledge graphs, digital twins, all of these things, right? And so, here's like some representative stuff. You read more of your research articles, the taxonomy versus ontology articles. And this isn't everything, but it's a good sample. Applying ontologies terminology, advantages, disadvantages, right? And then you can also have like, I'm reading through Palantirs is who kind of they're the ones that launched all this stuff, right? Kind of. So trying to do my research, right? And as well as listen to things that people are saying out there in the community in terms of on LinkedIn. You've got different sides to this. Some people are like, oh, the semantic model is everything. And other people are like, hey, you don't need it. And, flat tables are fine and all this stuff. So, so so there's a lot to cover is the bottom line. And so I've got this broken out into about at least 5 different videos I'm going to make on this subject because I want to go through this methodically in terms of because it's a pretty complex debate that goes back and forth, and so there's going to be some twists and turns as we go through and cover this that you're probably not going to see coming necessarily, and I definitely don't think you're going to see the end conclusion, at least what I have in my head. You're not going to see that coming either, but they're going to start this out, and I'm going to create a separate playlist just for this, on AI and ontology, as well as I'll add it to my AI playlist as well. But with all that said out of the gates, right? So why are people even talking about this, right? Semantic models, ontologies, digital twins, everything like that, right? So that's what we're going to cover first, right? So AI in general, right, is amazing, right? AI can summarize documents, it can write code, it can build dashboards, it can answer questions about your data. So right, so it's easy to assume, right, that AI understands my data, your data, right? But people will argue that it doesn't really understand it, right? And that kind of not being able to understand your data, truly understand it, is becoming like a big risk in modern analytics. Okay, this is what people say. So, what do I mean when I say, or what do people mean when they talk about understanding, right? So, we humans, like myself, and that we understand data in terms of what things are, right? Why these things exist, right? How these things relate to one another, what rules apply to these things, like how do they change state, and then how things change over time. Like we as humans, that's how we understand the world, if you will. Now, AI, on the other hand, people will argue, right? And I want to stress that I'm going to cover what people argue. I'm not going to necessarily tell you right now, like what I believe. Like that'll be revealed as we go through this. Um, but AI, people argue that AI doesn't understand those things, right? AI understands patterns, it understands probabilities, correlations, co-occurrence, if you will. But these are not the same things, right? This is really more AI is more about prediction, not comprehension. All right. So what people will argue is that that this builds a an illusion of intelligence. Okay. So AI is very confident when it's wrong. And I'll show an example of that. It's very because AI is just comes out. It's fluent. It's fast. It's statistically correct enough, I guess you could say. But does this, confidence equal correctness? No, of course not. Right? It can be AI can be extremely confident when it's wrong, like dead wrong. So like people like here's like an example like if you ask an AI what is a customer, right? It'll give you an answer that sounds right, is probably pretty accurate, right? But it doesn't know like your legal definition of a customer or your historical rules around customers or edge cases that you have for customers or governance constraints around customers, right? It doesn't know what is allowed necessarily in your context. So, and maybe that's a bad example, but whatever, that's the example. Um, so why then is this become an issue, right? At small scales, right? This is probably not no big thing, right? It's harmless, right? But like people will say that, like, well, at the enterprise scale, right, it becomes very risky because your metrics are going to drift, right? Definitions just changing slightly becomes really problematic, because it can lead to reports contradicting each other. And then auditors come in and they'll ask the question, well, why? And nobody can explain the answer because AI just kind of made it up, right? It just guessed. And AI is not going to tell you that, look, I'm just guessing at this, right? It just keeps guessing until it finds an answer that you like, right? Right. Again, I'm just kind of going through the background on this. Um, so then there's this discussion out there, and I'll just touch on this briefly, but there'll be a whole video on this subject, which is like the whole flat data trap, if you will. So most AI systems are fed like flat tables, logs, text blobs, denormalized views, that kind of stuff. And these formats are very convenient, but people will argue that they collapse meaning, right? They don't tell you what's an entity versus an event, what is a snapshot versus a history, what's a rule versus an observation, right? Once that meaning is gone, like AI cannot reliably reconstruct it on the fly, is what people will say. So, what AI is missing, they'll argue, is not intelligence, it's lacking explicit definitions, stable identities, declared relationships, temporal intent, business rules, right? These kinds of things. In other words, the AI lacks semantics, and semantics don't magically just appear from the data. This is what people say. Okay. So what they'll argue is the real fix is not better prompts or bigger models or more data, right? The solution, they say, is explicit meaning, governed definitions, shared semantics, and they'll call these things different things: semantic models, ontologies, knowledge graphs, digital twins. Well, guess what? We'll get into this in the next video. It's all the same stuff. Okay. It's just different names for the things that do the same job. All right. So AI, it's argued, doesn't understand your data. It understands patterns in poorly explained facts. And if you don't define meaning, then AI is just going to invent it out of thin air, and it'll be very convincing when it does it, right? So that's and let me try to give you a practical example of this, right? And this one comes from Nick Debra. He loves posting critiques on AI. Like I don't know if I'd call him AI pessimist or AI critic or anything like that. But he likes to poke fun at AI when it royally screws things up, right? And one of the ones he loves to do, or I've seen him do, is the bicycle image. Right? So basically here is this ChatGPT, this is 5.2. Create an image of a bicycle and label its parts. That's the entire prompt. Right. And so it sort of does, and it's got the handlebars, but it's all kinds of wrong, right? The handlebars are also the seat, the sack. That one I had to take a moment. I had to admit, when I saw the sack sitting there under the seat, I'm like, oh, that's hilarious, but incredibly wrong. It's got the pedal correct. The frame is some of the frame is correct. It has the rear wheel and the front wheel reversed, right? I mean, like, like what the hell are you doing, AI? And this is the latest model, right? So, and this is now problems like people will say, oh, this is really it's your AI is not good at deterministic things that don't have only one right answer, right? It they are inherently non-deterministic, and you can have all those things, whatever. But the bottom line is, when you do this, it's like, well, it's wrong. That's what people see. So now think about it this way in terms of adding like information to that prompt, if you will, like additional rules to follow and that sort of thing. So that's what I did. And so here I said, create an image of bicycle and label its parts. The image must adhere to the following rules. And then I give it a set of rules based on the last image that it did. I'm like, there's only one set of handlebars here. Don't label handlebars twice. And I give like, well, the handlebars are connected to the rest of the bike via this and da da da. And so I give it all these rules, and it creates an image like this. And is this more accurate? Yeah, this is sort of more accurate, I guess you could say, right? In terms of it's still wrong, but it got the saddle correct. It got the seat post right. Got the top tube. Of course, then it did another top tube, which is incorrect. The head tube, which I don't know where it came up with that. It's got the chain, it's got the gears, it got the rear wheel correct, got the front wheel correct, pedal, right? The down tube close, it's almost there, right? But there's still some problems with it, but you could say it's more accurate. And so the concept being that hey, the more if we can add more and more relationships and information and data, about this thing that we're trying to have it do, that it'll be more accurate. That said, though, like I did it again, and I did the same thing, and I added there's one and only one of each part of the bicycle, and then it got worse to a certain degree, even though I used the same prompt. The head tossed, right? The head tube, the top tube, the down tube. That's not the down tube. The fork is wrong. Did get tire and spoke, and now it's got two gears, and it's pointing to the pedal for one of the gears, and the seat stay is not quite correct or whatever. The saddle it got in that thinks it's a handlebar. So I don't know if that proves anything, but that's kind of the debate that's going on is that look, and you think about this in terms of just data, right? In terms of tables of data that star schema versus a flat file, right? In order for the argument is made is that in order for AI to really understand this, we must provide this additional information, and people will call it different things like digital twins or ontologies or semantic models, blah 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 blah. And that's what's really needed in order for AI to be really successful and scale at the enterprise level, right? So we're going to be exploring this in this entire topic. So this is the setup for it. So that's what we're going to be exploring in the next series of videos that I'm going to be doing on this subject. So, and they'll all be in a single playlist and that sort of thing. So, and remember this bicycle example, okay? Because we're going to come back to it. And yeah, just that's all I'm going to say about that for right now. So that's all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.